Welcome back to Beyond the Classroom, the podcast from LCCC's Outreach and Workforce Development Team, where we explore education, training, and innovation that powers Wyoming's workforce. Today, we're diving into technical skills training, or TST, a key part of our work at LCCC. Whether you're a business looking to upskill employees or an individual wanting to sharpen your resume, TST team offers practical, hands-on training to meet real-world needs. Joining us is Michael Stevens, Technical Skills Training Specialist, here to talk about the work his team does and how it benefits our region. So let's start with the big picture. What is technical skills training and how does it fit into LCCC's OWD mission?
Hello, James, and thanks for having me. Well, let's start off right away with a name change. TST, Technical Skills Training, was our original title for our department, but we realized that's a bit confusing and vague because it could be welding, HVAC, plumbing. Those are technical skills and trades. So moving forward, we are calling our department under the Outreach and Workforce Development Department, Computer Skills Training, which is super simplistic, CST, Computer Skills Training. But it makes sense because that can encompass all the areas that are related to computers. We're talking hardware, software, concepts like AI, a major one. So we're going to be called CST. So that means Computer Skills Training. So you'll hear me say CST several times today, and that's what it stands for. And that's all of our computer classes that we offer on this side of the campus. So basically, the CST is the broad term for classes we offer that fall into the computer technology realm, primarily software, such as extensive Excel classes. We have a whole series of Excel classes, Power BI, Acrobat Professional, and Google Workspace, and of course, Intro to AI courses. So the AI course would fall under the conceptual computer tech trainings, hence the term computer skills training. AI is definitely a computer skill. And like I said, our Intro to AI course is our newer course that's in that area of conceptual terms for computer skills training. I mean, let's not forget the hardware sector of CST, where we also offer fiber optic, copper, and Ethernet network cabling classes. I don't teach those, but we have some other folks who do. They're fantastic. So for me, though, software and AI comprise the majority of our courses and our team under the CST banner. CST fits into OWD, which stands for Outreach and Workforce Development. A lot of acronyms today. So CST fits into that mission of OWD by helping people improve and expand their skills for either personal growth reasons or obviously to increase their value in the workplace. Loading up their resumes, upskilling, hopefully increasing their stature, and most importantly, their pay. So we support local businesses by training and upskilling their staff, either individually or more often in groups. Employers will send a cohort over to one of my classes. It can be anywhere from 5 people to 10. We can do custom classes up to 20, actually. So either we do this through our open enrollment or custom request classes. So that basically answers that question of what is CST Computer Skills Training and how does it fit into the mission of our department? And that is to provide upskilling or just teaching new skills in general about computer technology to the workforce or people for personal reasons. It goes both ways, but obviously largely it's the business community is taking a lot of our classes.
Thanks for the exclusive there on the name change. I'll have to build that into the website redesign as we go. So, curiosity, kinds of businesses or individuals typically benefit from these CST trainings?
Well, it sounds trite, but any individuals who use a computer, smartphone, or tablet, which is everyone, youngest of children use those, can benefit from learning more about the potential of the tech that's in their hands, be it a computer, tablet, smartphone. So for example, using Excel or QuickBooks for managing personal or family finances, it's a big one. Businesses always benefit when their employees' tech skills are enhanced by our courses. Their employees increase in their value, their efficiency, and my favorite result, career growth. I love it when they hear after a class, oh, I can't wait to try this out at work, show my colleagues my new Excel skills, or wait until my boss sees how I can repair our messed up Excel workbook, which is very common. You come to our Excel classes saying, I use Excel at work, but it's a hot mess. And so the endeavor in our class is to show you how you can be that superstar in your organization to repair those Excel workbooks.
It's amazing to watch students come in and Some of them I'm sure you've had think they know everything there is.
Oh,
They'll walk out
yeah.
with whole bunch of new skills, right?
There's so much to learn about Excel. The good news is lots of folks already have basic Excel knowledge, but then they're thrilled to find out there's so much more it can do. And I love showing them the additional things they did not know. So let's see. So for businesses, of course, they have to manage their financials, their sales records, employee records, project management, and of course, inventory. Can't forget that. It's a big deal. So it's no surprise you've had students from landscaping companies, plumbing, car dealerships. I think who else we've had in our classes for businesses? Oh, school district employees. They're a big participant in our classes. Peace officers, restaurants, owners of well-known coffee shops, beauty salons, or even other trade schools have sent folks to our classes. You name it.
So you've mentioned a whole lot of different technical trainings. You've mentioned Excel, you mentioned Power BI. How do you decide which topics to offer?
Well, we want popular and useful offerings with tried and true classics like good old Excel, the monster, which nearly every business uses to some degree, but also what's trending and growing in popularity, such as Power BI, which is an extension of Excel because it's from Microsoft. Google Workspace, either the free or the paid editions of Google Workspace that are out there, although most folks do use the free version. That's the whole point of Google Workspace. Acrobat Pro, not Acrobat Reader, Acrobat Professional, where you can actually edit PDFs and do all kinds of crazy things. Bookmarks and programmable macros inside of your PDF that do take actions upon your button clicks. And especially AI, of course. We will likely have expanded AI classes starting next year and above and beyond our existing Intro to AI class we're going to offer this fall. So we are responsive as far as deciding what classes and topics to offer. We're responsive to what our students need and ask for, including from class surveys, and also keep a close eye on the industries out there, what they're interested in, what's trending. Because things do change, right? We used to hear a lot of access classes. There's lesser demand for that. Not that we're going to stop teaching access, but clearly it's waning a bit. So we keep that stuff in mind, but what's happening with software, make sure we're offering current and relevant courses. So like Power BI is on the rise. We've originally had Excel levels 1, 2, and 3, all 3 separate classes. And they were very popular. So due to that popular demand, we've expanded them into basically Excel data analysis, which is in theory Excel level 4, but we officially call it Excel pivot tables. That's a half-day class, and Excel Power Pivot, which is another half-day class. They're back to back. So ideally, if someone would take both, that would qualify as Excel level 4. So that's a great example where we're responsive to people's needs, both personal and in the business sectors. What do you want to learn more about? And it's always more Excel. But that's just one of the things we do. And AI is another example too that keeps growing in demand. So we're going to expand to meet that demand.
So sounds like industry's driving what your industry or individuals' requests of some sort are driving the courses you're offering. People love flexibility. I hear some half-day courses in there.
Yeah.
Are these courses online? Are they in person? Are they hybrid? How does that work?
That's a great question. So although we do partner with a company called Ed2Go, the numeral 2, Geo, Ed2Go, for online courses, kind of a partnership with them, all of our main CST, Computer Skills Training classes, are in person, in classroom classes. Generally, they're one-day high-focus classes, 7 hours long from like 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., obviously an hour lunch break, in our 20-machine computer lab. We do have a few half-day classes too. I had mentioned the only 2 I can think of that are half-day at the moment are Excel pivot tables and Excel Power Pivot. All of our other classes are 1 full-day session and pretty intensive. You don't bite off more than you can chew with our one-day classes. We endeavor to make it if you're wild at one day that you've dedicated, usually away from your workplace too. The employers who send their employees want that full day off of their jobs to have maximum impact as far as what they've learned. The in-person classroom format allows our students to try stuff out hands-on. We have computer exercises interspersed with the lecture, which is a more engaging format than just watching YouTube videos alone with no feedback or help from a live instructor. And those YouTube videos are fine, and they're really educational. There's fantastic ones out there. But again, you're sitting there by yourself watching it, and hopefully you have enough self-direction to follow through and do the exercises they tell you to. But when you're in a classroom with other students, there's a good synergy there We found that good group energy with fellow students helping each other out and sharing their use case stories, either at home or in the workplace, that makes those classes more enjoyable and effective. There's a lot of camaraderie with people either in a group from a workplace or just they meet people in class and then interspersed with my assisting the students with the exercises in class throughout the lecture. The other students also will chime in, you know, how I do this at work, or I know a shortcut. And I'll say, hey, I didn't mention that, or guess what? I didn't even know about that shortcut. Because as much as I know about Excel, for example, there's still plenty of surprises out there. So we love that group energy in a classroom environment. The hands-on on the computer is a big deal to try it out and then get instant feedback from the instructor or your colleagues on how you're doing with that particular skill you're working on for that exercise. We also provide textbooks and in-class informal quizzes to help reinforce that material and improve retention. That's a pretty classic learning model there. People really enjoy that. It's always nice to have a takeaway from a class and textbook. You may not use it again, but we suggest people do go through the book again and practice what they learned in class. Also, watching web videos to learn is a valid approach. Like if you were to use Ed2Go for the online courses, which we don't really focus on, but it's out there. But our in-classroom focused and supportive format has clear advantages to watching videos all by yourself. Frantically taking notes, rewinding the video multiple times, or asking the live instructor in the classroom for more clarification and direct assistance. So basically, all that verbosity aside, we have classroom classes in person, our 20 machine computer lab, and their one-day classes. So that's our main focus versus online training.
Obviously, everybody learns a little different. Me personally, I love the hands-on portion,
Yeah.
the in where I can actually interact with the instructor because I'm gonna have questions. It's gonna happen, right? Somewhere along the way, I'm gonna go, okay, I thought I understood this, but I only sort of understood it. Help.
There's also the captive audience factor. Are many of us going to dedicate a whole day, 6 to 7 hours of watching YouTube videos to sharpen our skills? I doubt it. You may watch 1 hour and then get burned out. It's when you're in the classroom, you're pretty focused. People come in with their Starbucks and they're ready to go. And there's an energy and enthusiasm that makes you want to learn because you're in a classroom and you've dedicated a day to it. I think most people can agree that's preferable to locking yourself down at home and watching videos. Something wrong with watching videos.
And if I need a formula somewhere like Stack
Yep.
Overflow and the rest of them, Excel's been around long enough that I can go out on the web and find what I need.
Exactly.
The trick is you have to know what you're looking for,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if I just have, I want to do this, it could take me half an hour just to get close to the answer.
Yeah.
If you've been doing it a while like you have, then you're able to very quickly go out on the web and you've got the right answer within a matter of
Almost like a
minutes.
top up. A big thing too is although you can read textbooks or watch YouTube videos, when there's a discussion in the classroom with the instructor and the students always tell about their work experiences, there's a practicality there how do you use these formulas? Not just here, I memorized this formula, the today parentheses formula gives today's date as an example. But then we talk about, well, that today formula, do you know it's the core of any project management spreadsheet? That's the kind of stuff you're just not going to get easily necessarily from a video or a book, is how do you use these skills in this class right away at work? So in class, our exercises we have the students do hands-on, they're almost always business use cases. So they can see, how am I going to use this? Not just tell me what it does.
Yep.
Because you can just talk about bells and whistles all day and people are just going to numb out on you, glaze over. So it's good to show them, no, this is actually how you're going to use it to manage your inventory or employees, or remove duplicate records if you have an accidental John Smith ×2, or you have 2 John Smith employees, do not remove that duplicate record, stuff like that. This is all stuff we discuss in real time. So it's a great format. I love teaching in the classroom.
And the fact that they get access to the computers during the class, it's
Yes.
not just sitting there listening to a lecture.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah.
Even though it would be interactive,
Yeah.
the hands-on is the best because they don't have to go away and then that evening try to remember what they learned or what was in their notes and decrypt those. All right, well, let's change gears just a little bit. I'm sure businesses occasionally ask you for something a little more custom to what they want. So how do you tailor these trainings to specific needs, specific custom training requests?
So all the businesses typically, like I said earlier, send a cohort of their employees to our classes. We do also offer custom training courses to meet those needs of a business or agency department. It's basically a mix and match of topics and skill areas they're looking to sharpen. And so we work with our clients to create a training agenda. So basically, we give them a menu and say, "What would you like to order?" And the employer will say, "Well, I'd like to have a 1-day session where my employees are topped up on how to create a graph out of the data, Excel, for example, or they're a bit weak in Outlook tasks, that kind of thing." So we basically tell them, "Here are all the things we teach, and what topics would you like?" And then they can do custom training. Or they'll just say, "We'd like to book one of your classes just for our staff." But we have a cohort of employees mixed with they're on their own because they're starting up a business or they just want to have their skills increased for their own use. Because obviously Excel you can use for personal stuff. I use it for shopping lists and family vacation planners as well. So but yeah, so they reach out to us and say, "We'd like to do a custom class. We're like, do you want to use one of our existing classes or modify the topics that we do offer?" So we have a discussion about that and get them a custom agenda. We recently had a customized course where they sent examples of Excel workbooks that they used. They were a little rough, but they worked. And so they had employees who wanted to improve those workbooks, those worksheets. And so they wanted their employees to have the skills to either fix them or improve how they operated. So that's an example where our training was customized after we analyzed the example files they sent us and said, "These are what our employees are using." So for them, that training was very specific, and the light bulbs went off. They're like, "That's exactly what I do at work." I'm like, "Well, that's because your boss sent me an example of the workbook you're using." And so that's a pretty neat. Cause anyway, we do tailor the trainings as needed. So all you do is contact us and let us know what you need. We're there for you.
Fantastic. So covered some of the stuff you train. We've covered kind of how customization works. I think, if I remember correctly, you started to touch on a success story somewhere. You have one you can share, somebody who really walked away, just I don't even know how to phrase it, but a success story.
A great example of an individual benefiting from our CST programs is that earlier this year, I had a student report back to me that they got a new job in the state of Wyoming and that our Google Workspace class enabled them to answer all the interview questions about it with confidence. Turns out the state of Wyoming does use Google Workspace, love it or leave it. And so our full day class was pretty thorough. And so this student was thrilled saying, "I sat there in the interview thinking, I know this stuff." And that made me feel, I was glowing with pride that they took that away from the class and actually helped them get a job. And of course, that's our goal. Like I mentioned earlier, we want people to be upskilled to either improve where they're at in their current career or look for a new career. We've had classes for groups whose employers will give them a raise for taking our classes, which is pretty sweet, and improving their skill sets, which is an incredible win-win. You get free education and then that makes you more money. Sign me up. But I frequently hear about my former students getting promotions once they become the go-to Excel or data analysis guru in their workplace. That's the best case scenario when they are the new Excel guru. They come back to the workplace with their new Excel skills from our courses. The downside is sometimes, to be honest with you, is when they don't get a raise, but everyone comes to them with their questions. "Can you fix this?" So like, maybe you shouldn't be too skilled. No, I'm kidding.
Well, in the beginning,
Yeah. Eventually that employee
that's
should
a,
speak
that's
up
a
for
huge
themselves.
pleasure in
Yeah.
the beginning to become the person.
Yeah, and there's a pride and then eventually an irritation that, "Hey, you guys, you need to pay me to fix all these things now that I have these new skills. So give me a raise." We have business owners from larger sized ranging to just startups. So they need those software tool skills for so many aspects of running their businesses successfully, such as QuickBooks, as an obvious example. And if they don't want to do QuickBooks, Excel is an excellent financial management program as well. Basically, QuickBooks is sort of like a modified version of Excel in disguise, right? But that's a great one for businesses, pretty popular. We use real world examples, like I mentioned, in our classroom exercises. So our students can then replicate what they learn in class with their own data once they go home or return to the office. So lastly, like I mentioned, everyone seems to buzz after class that they learn new skills or even some cool shortcuts. I love that when throughout the class they say, "I did not know that was only a keyboard shortcut that I could do all that." I'm like, "Yeah." And I remember back when I didn't know those shortcuts and I can't believe someone didn't tell me sooner, but I love when that light bulb goes off, like I said earlier, and they're super excited to go, "I can need to use that from now on," especially I always use Excel because it's a popular class. The control shift arrows to select regions of data quickly is fantastic versus trusting your video game mousing skills, I call it, because I'm not good at video games. And the eye-hand coordination with the mouse required to select exactly the data you want to process in Excel can be tricky and fraught with error. You didn't grab the last row. So for example, the control shift arrow shortcut I teach in class, and we actually haven't practiced that, is for many people a eureka moment. So I love that they get a real buzz after it, that they can go home and try it. So witnessing students' sense of self-betterment and lifelong learning is why I love teaching, as obviously all instructors do. So
Cool. All right. So I know everybody's burning question. Money.
it's not free.
So yeah, not
Tutorials are free.
So what is the cost? And does LCCC offer any grants or financing like some of the other programs on campus do?
We don't currently, but we're always looking for that kind of thing. Right now, it's just out of pocket. We actually have done market studies, and we're very competitive with all the colleges in Wyoming and even nationwide for our pricing setup. So for example, all of our software and AI courses follow the same pricing. The full day software courses are $179 each, and that cost covers books and handouts. Cheap. And then we also, after the courses, if there are files available, like I often send out a zip attachment of all the answers to all the books questions and exercises, including spreadsheets that have the solutions. Again, the Excel class example, we have like 5 Excel classes, different Excel classes, and almost all of them have a whole whack of completed projects in the spreadsheets. And how can you learn if you don't have the answers? Like in our kids' books, the answers are upside down in the back, but for some reason our textbooks don't have the solutions in the back of the book. So I send all the answer files afterwards. So the $107 includes all that follow-up as well after the class. The half-day courses are $119 each, also including books. And then the cost of our hardware courses, I'll just throw that in real quick if you're interested in that. They can vary. Now, they're several weeks long. So for example, copper, fiber, and Ethernet cabling courses, which are several weeks, they'll get you an industry certification at the end, and those can range from $875 to $1,075. Again, those are several weeks long, whereas our software class is just one day. So $179 for one day and $119 for a half day.
For something that can either get me a raise or a brand new job, in most of these cases, you're talking about a handful of days, even at minimum wage,
Yep.
to be able to lift myself up to a much better paying job, to be able to support myself and my family.
Yeah, the raise you're going to get from your boss, or even a new job, for God's sake, are certainly going to exceed the cost of the course. And like I say, we're pretty competitive with the pricing around the country. So
The bargain at twice the price.
yeah, thank you.
So, all right. So someone wants to bring training to their business or sign up as an individual. What's going to be their first step?
Well, the classic, you can go to LCCC's website. It's lccc.wy.edu/workforce. We're under business training and then, of course, computer applications. As you browse our computer skills courses, there's a register icon. You just click on it right there. You see the class you like, click on the register icon, and you're into our registration system. You can also learn more or request a training, custom training for businesses, like I mentioned, by emailing owd@lccc.wy.edu. And then lastly, you can use the good old-fashioned telephone. Yes, payphone? No, I'm kidding. And call to easily register at 307-778-381. And they'll certainly register you right there on the phone, or answer any questions you may have, too, about any of the courses.
Collect calls, huh?
Do we accept collect calls? I'm not sure. I'll have to get back to you on that
I
one.
haven't seen anybody make a collect call in years.
Yep.
Showing my age. All right. Well, Michael, thanks again for joining us today and
Pleasure.
shedding some light on the incredible work that the Computer Skills Training team, the CST team, does. Whether you're looking to train for your workforce or level up your own skill set, LCCC is here to help. Learn more or request training by visiting lccc.wy.edu/workforce or emailing owd@lccc.wy.edu. Till next time, keep learning, keep growing.
I want tomorrow. I want tomorrow. I want tomorrow. I want tomorrow today.